for a reckoning has come.
Welcome back to the HGC, Tricked Esports, and Synergy competing currently right now. We're getting ready for game number 4. This is a best-of-5 series, and we've got a match on our hands, Caldor.
Indeed we do, and now we have, of course, both, like, Synergy, first of all, is in a very comfortable position still. They need to win one of the next 2 maps, and they would be in a great spot here. Dodge the Crucible, at least for now. And when we're looking at Tricked, on the other hand, they're in a spot where they have to win 2 after just coming off a victory on Cursed. So it's an interesting dynamic that unfolds in this series.
A difficult task ahead here for Tricked Esports, but if anyone can do it, they possibly can. Let's find out which battleground we're going to for game number 4. We are moving into Battlefield of Eternity. Kind of interesting how this battleground was one that we did not run very often the first few weeks of Europe, and now we are seeing it pretty much all the time.
Yeah, and you know, the interesting part about now seeing Battlefield happening here is that the last time these 2 teams faced each other, the series ended in a 3-1 victory for Tricked. Guess where the 1 win happened for Team Synergy?
Battlefield of Eternity.
Indeed. So yeah, that's a map that traditionally we are seeing Synergy having good results. It's not necessarily their best map or anything, but this is the one map that they could win the last time. If they can do it again this time, it would mean the victory in the series.
I do feel like this battleground awards aggressive shot calling, right?
Yeah.
If you're able to call, let's burn down an Immortal, and you can move into the right position, you can burn it down. What does Synergy do very well? They call aggressively. They've done it time and time again.
And I wouldn't really mind them going maybe like into something with Varian again. Every single time that we've seen them with Varian combinations, they were just incredibly aggressive, and that usually works for them. So teamfight oriented drafting, that's what I want to see out of them again.
Yeah, Power really likes to get in the front line for that team and set up those fights, and they really seem to have come around him. He used to be someone that I always criticized for being a little bit too aggressive, but it seems like they've talked it out, they've worked out their kinks, and now suddenly we have a team that is running like a well-oiled machine. Can they earn another victory, though, in the HGC besides a team that's called BGNess? Let's find out.
Yeah, the well-oiled machine. They looked strong on map 1, map 2, and then with a few kinks there on map number 3 that caused the problem. This time they're actually getting rid of the Arthurs super early in the draft, saying that's not going to happen. Now, of course, we're going to talk about Tassadai again here. Tricked.
Ooh, are they going to do it?
They are more or less trying a soft ban. So instead of banning out the Tassadai, you ban out the Vala and hope that your opponent doesn't combo anything else off with the Tassadai. That would be an interesting approach to it. They know that Vala is one of those pillars when we're talking damage on the side of Synergy.
Yeah, for the Hungering Arrow build, you drop down the Qs, you get that single target DPS. It's one of the best builds you can run here on BOE, so something that's taken away now. Synergy, I would like for them to grab a Greymane here. You grab it early, you get one of the strongest DPSs that you have available for the Immortal phase. But there's always a thought about Tassadar. Do you grab him instead?
That is a very good question, and I'm curious to see what they're going to do. The Greymane, as you said, gains extra value on the map. They play the Tassadar card, so they can combo something and go into that double support. Greymane, an insta-pickup, of course. I mean, we are talking about... The only other hero that you could really talk about when we're talking Immortal damage is then the Sylvanas, which always gives you the pressure after level 7 with the Bob Shot. You have, in addition to that, the trade that helps you just emphasizing the pushing power with an Immortal. But Greymane is just overall so much more versatile and of much more use in the teamfight itself. Greymane, therefore, an insta-pick by Trick. And yeah, what exactly is going to be the combo with the Tassadai that Synergy is currently hoping for?
Yeah, now you start looking at options like Illidan, you look at Tracer as
Yes.
a pickup. Zul'jin can be good too. He just lacks the mobility that is really good. And also you want to burn yourself down to like a quarter to a fifth health to actually get advantages around the Immortal phase, which is a bad place to be in against a Greymane.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be low against the Greymane. He's going to say thanks and jumps in and goes straight for the throat.
Hit E, hit Q, easy kill of my life. Thank you so much.
Exactly. So now Synergy, how are they going to play this one? They have the Tracer comp. It's the Tracer comp for them. Malfurion and Tracer being picked. This is already a fun game, and we haven't even seen half the draft.
It's going to be Aggro City here. Tricked Esport, I'm thinking a Variant ban here. What do you think about that?
Yeah, Variant, they could definitely ban the Variant out. It could also be something that Synergy wants to get rid of. I mean, he doesn't have the stun anymore. That was more or less the hard counter to Tracer.
Yeah.
But still locking her down for a follow-up is always nice for any hero. And no, but then again, Trick usually doesn't do that as much as Synergy. So for Trick, they could be the Sonya, could be a good ban for them as well. It benefits from the shields quite nicely. But yeah, we could see that.
All right, Synergy, what do you ban out here? I'll see the choice for them. There's also the other options of getting rid of Arthas just straight up so Tracer can get into there. Now, granted, Tracer doesn't really care about Arthas as much. You have your Blinks available, you have your Wine, but it is still a threat to deal around and dance around. Zarya is going to be their choice.
Yeah, Arthas was also banned already, so in that case...
Maybe I should read the draft screen. Is that a good idea, Caldor?
That happens to me also like way too often, where you're in your head saying like, okay, what did they play before? What could they go for? And then at some point you just forget what was already banned out. Yeah. I think it was like when I solo casted, I ran it on from like the beginning to finish about like one hero that would be great.
They should have picked that hero.
Like, how is it possible that hero didn't get picked up? And then later on when the draft was over, I just looked at it and someone said like, dude, by the way, it got banned out first. And I was just like, oh god.
Oh, fail. Yeah. Well, Gul'dan and Varian get picked up here for HGC. The Gul'dan last game was just instrumental for their victory.
Yeah. And we have now the variant, so that's exactly what I said. It doesn't provide that same target lockdown anymore that it had against the Tracer, but he's still able to follow her a little bit easier and close that gap. So I could have even seen a ban on the side of Synergy against Varian. As I said before, they decided against it and banned the Zarya instead, but Tricked is now immediately saying, okay, cool, if you don't ban him out, then we're going to take that opportunity. Because let's not forget, one of the biggest tools that Varian has is not only that stun that got removed from him, he has Taunt. And Taunt is normally still the equivalent of a dead Tracer. So
yeah. Exciting news on the other side here for Synergy. Murden being picked up for Power of Dream, but here is the Artanis. This is a Hydra special. It is a hero that does solid amounts of damage to the Immortal phase, the amateur opponent. So great. And then, of course, you have the swaps that can get those engages. If there's ever a moment where Artanis gets an engage on Gul'dan or Ariel, for the most part, that hero is going to be focused down immediately. So Artanis is that wild card that's been brought in by Synergy.
For me personally, I look at this and I am still amazed that we have the Zarya ban over the Varian. Not because it's bad, because you have to consider what's on the table there for Trick. They have the Greymane. So Synergy was more afraid of a Greymane with a shield than about the Tracer being locked down with a charge and a taunt.
To be fair, I play a lot of Artanis. The one hero that I don't want to deal with is Zarya. Whenever I go in for a root or a flip on anyone, she brings out the shield. She brings just enough damage where she can be a pain, and I don't want to focus her down. It is kind of a pain to also deal with the explosion zone.
You play a lot of Artanis? To tell me more about it.
I mean, I have moments where I pull out the side blades, you know, drop them in here, early, get a kill or two. It's still a big deal. We don't have to talk about that. He's just the best hero in the world.
All right, Trixler pickup lines right there. Have you seen my Artanis, baby?
Have you seen my Artanis play? my purple master skin, no big deal. You know, I unlocked it like 2 weeks into the game. So it's all good. So yeah, Artanis brings in a lot of great engages. He burns down Immortals. He's a wonderful hero for this battleground. And what's great about him, too, is he does enough damage to where you have to warrant actually dealing with him, which allows Tracer to sneak in and be the pain in the rear that she is so good at doing.
Tracer just has to be careful of that taunt on Varian. And that's also where Tessa that comes into play. Like, he needs to be there with a shield once it happens. Because you can't just like sit in the back with your Tracer and just like wait for something to happen. You have to actually zip around and try to get into the backline. And that's what Varian is going to wait for. So Synergy made a very conscious decision to say, we are absolutely confident that we can keep Tracer alive, even with the Varian and the taunt on the other side, but we don't want to deal with the shields here. And I guess Battlefield is going to show if that trust in the Tracer play is justified or not.
Well, let's find out if it's going to work out for them. Battlefield of Eternity is a battleground we are going to. Let's see if Artanis could take on the opposing team. I guess Tracer will help. It's going to be BOE, game number 4.
It's all about the Artanis if you listen to this guy, but of course there are a few more players on each team. If Trick could make it happen, it would be 5 Artanis on one side.
Oh god, we would never lose.
Yeah, to the left side on the other hand now, we have Trick starting with Alex on Anubarak, Crosby on Gul'dan, Gnapper on the heels with Oriel, Remaballa has taken over the Variant duty, and Eternal is of course rocking the Greymane.
On the right side, Synergy in the red. Tracer will be played by Neon. Tassadar will be played by Sir Ice Cream. Artanis will be played by Hydra. Power will be on Murden. And Sethka on Malfurion.
And of course, Artanis plays by Hydra.
Let's watch it, man.
Who else?
He brings in the mechanics. Kind of cool, actually. We have 2 really good Artanis players in this matchup. Eternal plays a great Artanis, and then we have, of course, Hydra here on the one on the top. So top lane will be Artanis versus Nurbrak, and here in the bottom lane, here is where the dance will begin. Keep an eye on Neon. He is going to be zipping around the battlefield, and Trick Esports will have the task of trying to lock him down.
Yeah, and that's when, especially level 10 is of course going to be important. We've been talking about taunt a bit up to the point Tracer should be pretty much safe in these situations. But then later on, it's definitely going to be crucial to dodge that, or at least to have the Ice Cream providing that shield immediately once the taunt happens. And that's, of course, the main reason why the variant got picked up there in the first place. Go in, charge in, have the taunt ready, and then, of course, immediately the Greymane going to be on Tracer trying to drop her. And there's always these horror fights. We've been just touching upon the Gul'dan during the draft, but this is really the hero that made it happen for Trick Esports in the first place.
The Horrify, wonderful for whenever the dives come in from Murden or Artanis, you can lock them down. Also, if you hit the supports, you can then focus Tracer, get her killed off there if you have that taunt that pops up. A lot of layered aggression available for Trick Esport. Now, in the early game, should be seeing a lot of poke and forth, particularly by Synergy here. They're trying to get members picked off and use that pulse bomb to their advantage.
No, Artanis is in trouble. And yeah, what do you have to say about that?
Blame my teammates, man. Where were the supports? They should have been in the top lane. Crosby, oh, he dodges the pulse bomb and the root there. Synergy missing out on a kill.
Yeah, as Artanis, you definitely have a lot of rights to complain there. I mean, Meridian didn't heal you, so how dare you?
Right? Just give me a little bit of help of that trait. Power in the top is trying to soak for here. Eternal made a big play, though. He took off the turret, and we now see the experience advantage. 3.5 over Synergy, and now the Immortal phase begins. In terms of actual straight-up DPS, Trick Esports should walk away with this fight.
Yeah, right now also the level 4 that is about to kick in, if they just soak a bit more experience, is going to give them a bit of an edge here. So Synergy definitely losing out on the experience battle. And we have both of the teams starting to still stick around on lane to get some EXP so that the next talent is available to them. There's a quick stun against Varian. There's, of course, no real threat of getting a kill. But Trick is now starting to really home in on that Immortal, and Power is losing a huge amount of hit points here.
Yeah, Power there taking the damage. The block helping out in some of those attacks that came their way, but still very hard for him to work out. Going to be able to get the heals from Tassadar and Malfurion. This time it does build on. Alex Aproji moves in for the aggressive play. There goes the Impale. Burrow charge in. Power jumps out. Neon comes in to harass, has to deal with the Drain Life.
Yeah, that was a close call, though. That was a good jump, and the trade is kicking in again. They're still trying to defend their own Immortal, but they have to be careful. Both of the teams doing pretty much the same amount of damage thus far, but that Greymane, of course, it's such a game changer on this map.
Big root from Sefka. While we have Artanis already on the other Immortal, Neon goes in for some kills. The Pulse Bomb does connect here on Crosby. He's going to be forced to retreat there. Eternal going in for the chase. The turnaround does occur here, but we are at the halftime show between our two teams. Yeah, Artanis doing solid damage against the Immortal, but just not enough just yet. They're starting to go in again. There's an attack against Varian. Baller moving away. Stun circles on the ground as Eternal is also starting to suffer. There's stun circles everywhere, just assisting Synergy as they're aiming for a kill. They get the stun against Varian, and Tracer moves in to finish him off. And instantly, Neon steps forward, and we're going to have Hydra stepped over to the other Immortal to start burning it down. This is their time to get an advantage back over the fight here while they wait for Greymane and Varian to come back into the fight. Greymane now, with his heals, does pop on, and you're going to have the Pulse Bomb connect with Nappe on the right side. We're going to have a recall. Neon dancing. He barely gets out. Eternal starts chunking on top of the Immortal. On the Immortal, and everyone is actually starting to just burst that thing down as fast as they can. Looks like Trick is going to walk away with the first one, but only low shields and Synergy has been able to do a fair amount of damage to the Immortal of Trick Esports on the other side. So still a slight lead for Trick. Synergy walks away with a slight experience lead, but this is of course going to be negated by the objective. Hydra in trouble. They're going to be engaged. Attainment strike against the wall. Artanis falls. And now with the Immortal and the bottom, we're going to have pressure going their way. Artanis overstepped there, not thinking that a push would come his way to the Immortal going to the bottom. Typically you push with it when you have a Gul'dan and a Gildan cocktail Greymane. So Trick Esport switching it up and getting a takedown. Yeah, now Meridian is the only one up to the top lane, and Trick is just going really deep for that particular kill against the fort. And with them having Greymane and also Gul'dan here, they easily drop the structures. That's so much damage that you have. I have no problems taking that down. And they have a level lead now. They got the extra talent already. So a very solid position for Trick in game number 4. So what Synergy needs to do here is get level 7, get themselves in a spot where they're even in talents, and then force a fight. They need to have a Murden pick off into a Neon Pulse Bomb, or even a swap from the Artanis into a Root. They need to get isolation, get a pick there so they can have their energy and also their experience back. Camps now taken by both of the teams, and the level 7 talent, as you said, this is one that's going to be really important. The thing is, once the next Immortal comes in, Trick can actually start to maybe even think about a level 10, depending on how the next few minutes go. But Synergy will not be able to catch up in experience before.
So that's going to be a bit of a problem, and Artanis dying is definitely not going to help their cause.
Yeah, he's certainly having a really hard time there. He's getting caught out. Tricky Sports is obviously focusing him in his lack of mobility, which is one of the major pain threats of picking that hero up. Synergy now is going to be on a big retreat. Synergy is being chased by Tricky Sports. Big engage happening here. Power turns around and sits on top of a Nubrak here, bringing out the damage. Can Power survive with the double support heals? Yes, he can. But someone has to go top lane. There is a Merc push happening towards the keep wall.
Artanis is back, so he's going to take that role. We also have at the same time now Skullcragger taken from Norden. Yeah. Not a massive fan. I think the survivability would probably help him here. Then again, you have the double support behind you, so if you're really worried about not having enough damage output, then by all means, usually it's the cooldown reduction that really helps you to stay alive, since you are just reducing the cooldown for your Thunderclap, and once that you have the level 13 talent, it helps you a lot. But right now, they are apparently worried a bit more about the damage output. The mini stuns can also, of course, help out against any kind of channeling, which in this case would mostly be the Gul'dan, but just overall it can be annoying to an opponent. But if you are having double support, then having a bit of extra damage thanks to the attack speed can be worth a lot.
Power getting chunked down here on the left as 5 members are down on the bottom right for Tricky Sports. They're going straight for Sepka. He'll be able to sidestep there with the Malfurion route. Neon goes in the back left. The Phase Prism goes out but does not connect. Hydra looking for a chase here. But the poke consistently coming out from Tricky Sports is too much. The hope bars of Synergy continue to fall.
Greymane, it's insane. Like every time you see one of these cocktails, it's so much damage that he's able to push out. And just look how far ahead in experience Strict is. They are half a level away from hitting level 10, and that would give them another Immortal. This is why Greymane is moving to the top. He wants to clear the camp and make sure that they get the extra waves, and once the heroic ability is available to them, Synergy will not have another choice but simply move back. They're trying to burst down the Immortal a bit because eventually they have to give up the race unless they are able to get a kill or two.
Yep, so they work on the damage here, they poke it around. Alex Saprogi turns around for a potential fight, which makes everyone from Synergy retreat for the moment. Rimmer goes in for an engage. Oh, do the swap hit? Nope, barely missing out. So Synergy now needs to focus on getting their own level 10.
Yeah, if they can get the halftime, the position might favor them a bit, but Greymane up at the top is now finally securing the experience that they need. And there is immediately the taunt and also the Horrify. Power is taken out. That was well done. And actually in a place where it was very tricky for him to hop out. He was trying to, but he couldn't make that jump happen. So having the taunt and the Horrify used here allowed them to go straight in for the kill. And you know what? We don't even only have those tools available. We didn't even think about Cocoon during that draft, because that, of course, is going to emphasize even more how dangerous this game is going to be for Tracer.
Yep, the lockdown on the target of the damage. Tracer, again, that Pulse Bomb is here for that big burst of damage that happens after Aegis gets used. As she's Cocoon, the front line could get burned down by both Greymane and Gul'dan, so that will be a task that they have to deal with. 10 has finally hit for Synergy, and they make a play here as they go on the right side. Sir Ice Cream instantly going to be Cocoon there on the Archon.
Cocoon is in, Archon still dishing out the damage. We have Greymane jumping all over the place, but all of a sudden Eternal finds himself in trouble. We're seeing Tassadar moving out, Power of Dream still low. Alex is very low on HP now too, though, so he needs to be careful as Neon is still attempting to go for a target. Synergy still fighting over this Immortal, doing very well here, all things considered. Alex portaling away now as Synergy starts to make their move towards the Immortal.
The Immortal here on the left side, Synergy working it in, Neon in particular. Everyone else going to have to back on home as a Nubrak backed up to grab health, as well as Greymane getting topped off. So Synergy now defending by their Immortal phase here, just hoping to maybe get a spot where Trick Esports makes a mistake with their dives.
Also, Taunt and Horrify are both online again, off cooldown. They can be used here if they can isolate someone. Here comes the attack, Malfurion with a good route. The stun circle comes out, but Alex is able to dive away last moment. Once again, Varian, let's keep an eye on him. Remaball is looking for that target that Gul'dan could follow up onto.
Alex Saprogi on the left side. If he hits an Impale and does connect on Tracer or Tassadar, it could be a kill. Burrow Charge dives in. Hydra on the right, he goes in for the swap, the root comes out, Varian being focused, but with that protection, he survives.
It's so much poke that we're having here, and this is a big problem for Synergy. They're losing hit points on the Immortal. They need to start a fight if they actually want to win this. They need to win the team fight first, and so far, Trick is just always in a position where they are looking for one hero to overextend so that they can use Taunt and the Horrify to lock him down, push him in, and take him out here. This is tricky for Synergy. They're trying to make that play, and they're finally able to push them back a little bit.
There's a taunt in the engage. The cleanse out comes out instantly. There's the root on top of Varian. He's being focused here on the side. Eternal goes in for a Gyeoning cocktail. Does connect with some damage, but Trick Esports not finding the avenue for them to fully move in for the engage. Horrify and Cocoon, Aegis taunt, and go for the throw are all up. Synergy equally has their own heroics.
The cooldown on the taunt is so low. It's such a great tool to use, but Trick is taking position again in Synergy. They move back and accept that they will lose on the Immortal. They were looking for an opportunity, and as he said, like, they're looking for any kind of avenue they could use to somehow go into the backline, get maybe an isolation on one of the heroes for Trick. That didn't work out, so at some point they simply said, guys, we have to accept we're not going to win this one. Let's move back, defend as 5, get some experience, and just make sure that they're not going to get too much value out of the second Immortal.
Synergy hoping to clear out this Immortal on the bottom right. Can they save their keep? The poke continually comes in from Greymane and Gul'dan, which is something you have to deal with. At some point, Synergy has to make the snap call to go in for an engage. Power will lead that, or Hydra will hit a swap. Can it happen?
Well, they're trying, and Neon is at the side flanking a bit. The taunt is once in again. Cleanse being used immediately by... Oh, my Malfurion, they're going in, trying to get the lockdown on good old Gul'dan, but he's getting away already. Aegis being used as well. Swap attempt from Artanis doesn't work, and that's the kill against Tracer, and this is a massive problem. The rest of the team is super low. Just look at Artanis, he falls as well. It's a double kill, and the Immortal is walking towards the core after taking the keep down.
And Trick Esports with a full health Greymane move towards the core. They're going to start chunking it down. Sefka on the right side prays for survival, but it won't be enough. Even Toronto Whisperwind can save him there, as Synergy is going to start losing damage on their core, dropping down to 80%. Power on the backline being a threat. Neon does spawn. He's going to start moving in here, but if he or Murden falls, this will be game over.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, at this point, if Neon is able to get a few kills, then they might be able to get something on the way back. The problem is that both of the forts are still alive for Trick. It's not like all of a sudden, if you win a team fight, Synergy can walk over and take a keep down. That's not going to happen. Trick still has a lead in experience as well. Look how low they are at this point. Power is actually about to fall. So Ice Cream nearly died to Gul'dan here, so they have to walk away from this. But that was brutal. Synergy losing 36% on their core and the keep, of course.
They do survive. Would like to see maybe an aggressive play from them with Cocoon being used already. They could move in towards the left side and probably play aggressive on their opponent once they hit 13 if Trick Esports does not grab their own mercenaries fast enough. Synergy, though, will be having to make a play, and make a play soon. And it needs to be a devastating play. They need 1 to 2 picks, and they need to get a massive number advantage to start fighting back on this battleground.
Trick is just playing really coordinated right now, and I also feel the impact that Greymane has with this setup is just absolutely insane. It's such a great hero to have in your arsenal, and Eternal is fantastic on him. So he's playing extremely well, and that Horrify is just always such a threat to especially Tracer, with Varian charging in for the taunt. You can see how trigger happy on the cleanse Malfurion is, because he has to be. Every time he sees like Varian charge in, he needs to be ready for that cleanse. The problem is just like the cooldowns that we have here. 12-second cooldown on the cleanse, 60-second cooldown, sorry, other way around. 12-second cooldown on the taunt and a 60-second cooldown on the cleanse makes up for some very uncomfortable moments for Malfurion.
Uncomfortable moments for Malfurion and the entire team. Oh, he's missed so many phase prisms that could have been the moment for him to make a play. Hydra just trying to make something happen, and it just does not happen. Now, the Immortal spawns are favorable here for Synergy for defense, but they do have to be worried about their catapults. Big Graviton swap there, though, as it hits a Thermal. We're going to have the big Horrify coming out at the same time. Hydra will sustain. They're going to look at a Nubrak.
Yeah, but that's a cooldown burn, and an important one at that. Cocoon also being used. Yeah, again, the double swap. Gul'dan is in a really bad spot. That's the Oriel trying to save him. Tracer is down, and that's a double kill. Artanis falls too. Gul'dan stays alive. That couldn't have gone any better for Trick.
Yeah, Trick Esports turns it around, and they start applying damage to the Immortal. They're moving in. Big taunt on Murd, and Cleanse comes out to save power for now. Sefka low on health. Is the Gyeoning finishing him? Yes, the Gyeoning connects, and that's going to be a dead Malfurion.
They could go for, I feel like they nearly could go for core here. They decide to play it safe and go for the Immortal first. I think it's the correct call considering what's on the line here. But this is still, I mean, that double swap that we saw there, it really looked like Gul'dan being swapped in that position would eventually fall, but then with great reaction on the side of Nappa with the Oriel, just playing this perfectly, making sure that they're saving the Gul'dan, and then they get a double kill as well. That was very well done here by them.
Yeah, especially with the Horrify being down, that swap was so great, but you're right, Oriel is the one that really saved the day, and then the variant follow-up with the Engage was just enough for esport to turn it around. 16 about to hit for them while they push the top lane, and this could be a keep here. Synergy needs to make a play. In fact, I would probably recommend fighting outside of the Immortal, but the problem is they're behind in talents.
Oh, at this point, behind in talents, the Immortal pushing to the top, full shields. This is going to be rough for Synergy. If they get a good swap and maybe an early kill, that would be great, but yeah, not like this.
Murden gets focused out immediately. Look at that Murden, just losing health. This is how far behind they are. Power gets out though. Cocoon has been used. Their Ice Cream here on the left. Yoni Cocktail connects once again, but Synergy does survive. However, the Immortal lumbers down the top lane, looking to take out the keep.
Unbelievable that Murden stayed alive. The question is it going to be enough? And again, Artan is slammed into the ground. That taunt is getting so much value for Trick. It's such a great tool here, and they're losing everything. They lost the second keep. Everything's pushing towards the core. This should be the end. Sefka is so low, trying to move away on the Malfurion here. But even if he survives, it doesn't look like he will. All with the Icebook, he actually gets away. It's not going to change the outcome of the game. The Immortal alone is going to finish this.
Yep, it falls here. 50%, 40%. Trick Esport charging forward, and they will tie up this series 2-2. We are going to a game number 5 between these two teams.
Yeah, and again, I mean, hindsight is 20/20, but we said it after the draft. Was banning the Zarya over the Varian really the right choice here? Both of them are dangerous because of the draft that Trick is running. You have either the Greymane with shield support, which is, of course, brutal to deal with, but this Taunt plus Horrify combo was just too much for them to handle.
Yeah, constant engages happening from Trick Esports, and whenever there was a moment where maybe Synergy could fight a fight, here's a Horrify. You drop them from going in, and then you turn around the engage. The only moment that it seemed like it could have been really great for Synergy was when they had the Graviton Vortex switch over into the Gul'dan, but the Ariel save at the end was too much. Way too many tools. Let's get ready for game number 5. This series is tied up 2-2. We'll be right back. This is the HGC.